Back to a match preview. Blades men and women Rotherham against Sheffield United. We're going to have a little look at team news ahead of Saturday's 12:30 p.m. kickoff at the New York Stadium, as well as last time out player connections. We'll do a score prediction, and I suppose we should start with what everyone's talking about today. I'm not sure exactly where the credit lies for kind of revealing the story in the first place, so I'll just say Matt Lawton and, or is it Lawton? Or Nathan Hemmingham, or is it Hemingway? You both have been sharing today that it's been reported that the man behind the Blades' current takeover attempt is Nigerian Dozie Umbouosi. I'm definitely going to get better at saying that. Now, the technology entrepreneur is the founder and CEO of Tingo Inc. and Tingo International Holdings, and his company's been valued at £7 billion. So that's just the report that's come out today. Don't know any more than that. So we won't say anything else until anything else happens. Ollie's here with me. Hello, Ollie.
Hi, Hal, you all right? Yeah, exciting news that I agree. I know nothing more about it and wouldn't have been able to help you on pronunciation.
Yeah, I probably should have had a go at that before. Big shout out to our members. Big shout out to NordVPN. If you are looking for a virtual private network, look no further than NordVPN. Parrot Peel as well. Massive thanks to them, the musical ensemble, for sponsoring the channel. And a very special sponsor for this video, Final Runner, a really exciting game. It's the UK's 100% official last person standing game. Only a £5 to enter. Get involved with your mates. Pick your team. You can't pick the same team twice. So don't be picking Arsenal, Man City. The Final Runner wins the cash prize. The more entries, the higher the cash prize. Really easy to do. Loads of fun. Finalrunner.com. Check it out. Ollie, we breathe. We move. We look back. Wrexham 3-3 in the cup. I didn't see that scoreline coming. What did you make of the last game?
Yeah, it was absolutely chaos, to be honest. We say we breathe, but I certainly didn't breathe for at least 45 minutes in the second half of that game. It was a really bizarre kind of game, to be honest. It felt as though first half, United did a little bit of what United do, albeit defensively. We were looking somewhat shaky. Paul Mullin seemed to have us on toast. And then the second half, things just went mental. We lost a lot of control at the start, couldn't get our midfield in the game, and did well to force a replay, really, which isn't what I thought I'd be saying against a non-league side.
Yeah, the National League. I watched, before I moved out to Cyprus, a lot of National League football. The walking distance ground to my old house was Maidenhead United. So I've seen Maidenhead play against Wrexham. And I've got to be honest, I really didn't think Sheffield United were going to struggle. But maybe it says more about the standard as you go further down the leagues.
Yeah, I think there's a really strong National League. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to discredit anything that the National League are doing because, to be honest, it's ridiculous that there's still only 2 promotion spots, and that's something that will be being looked at. Because these teams, like Wrexham, they'll be probably a top 6 League 2 team. They're not just a National League side. They're a very good team on their own merit. Obviously, at theirs, don't want to blame too much on it, but it's a terrible pitch as well, which probably limits how much we could play our game and suited them just whacking it long and letting Mullin do what he does best. So you can certainly see why we struggled to an extent. I didn't expect it, and I certainly don't expect it to be a similar struggle at Bramall Lane. I think that'll be a very different performance, shall we say.
Last time out in the league, we beat Hull 1-0, but we're going to look at last time out against Rotherham. We've got to go all the way back to 2018, Ollie.
Yeah, 2018. And to be honest, this itself was a little bit of a shocker. United went ahead in the first half with a really fabulous Mark Duffy goal. I was watching it back earlier, and he must beat 5 men. We are actually touching the ball. He just body feints, he shimmies, goes nowhere near the ball, and they just chuck themselves on the floor in front of him, let him take it through, let him in on goal, and he finishes really, really lovely. But we weren't at our best. We came through the first half with a 1-0 lead, but Dino was making lots and lots of really good saves. I think by full time, he was man of the match, which just about sums up how this game had gone. But very, very easily, we could have been 2 up going at half time. Dids did what Dids does, and we loved him for it, but he missed a sitter in that first half. But we got used to that, and we forgave him for it. In the second half, though, Rotherham, if anything, stepped it up another level. Dino made 2 or 3 really good saves before they did get themselves level. John Taylor had an effort from just outside the box, deflects off Basham into the bottom corner. And to be honest, from that point onwards, I was definitely remember feeling, oh God, this is not going our way. But then 86 minutes, you think we've won it. You know, there's some really nice play between Fleck and Billy. Billy dinks a crossover to the back post. Basham attacks it. 2-1. You think we've not played well, but we've got ourselves over the line. What a win that is going to turn out to be. But of course, that wasn't the end of it. And Rotherham, to be honest, got exactly what they deserved with the last kick of the game. They got down the wing, pulled it back to absolutely no one. The pass is going nowhere, but Norwood slides in to try and stop it reaching no one. And unfortunately, pushes it in the path of Jamie Proctor, who just smashed it into the corner for a 2-2 draw. Very frustrating, but we can take that. And to be honest, I'd expect better this time. I think we're a better team. And I think hopefully we can cause a bit of damage, because we don't have a great record against Rotherham recently, in my mind.
Yeah, 7 of the players that started in that team are still with the club, 8 in total. I know Baldock was on the bench for that one. Truly incredible. Not too many sides can say that from 2018 to now, but that's the way the Blades have been doing it. Now, let's take a look at something really important that we're going to get involved with, fans that are attending this game. Sheffield United supporters invited to join a tribute to an 18-year-old Rotherham United fan tragically killed in a crash. So there'll be a tribute during this weekend's South Yorkshire derby at the New York Stadium. We're remembering Henry Evans, died when an off-road motorcycle he was riding was involved in a collision with a lorry late last month. Truly devastating news, and we will observe that impeccably for Henry Evans. There is no way to do a kind of sensible segue from something as serious as that, so I will just start by talking about team news. We know that McAtee could be a doubt, although he did train today. We're recording this and presenting it to you live on Thursday, so depending on when you're watching this. Jebbo unavailable because of a red card, which will not be appealed. Hecky confirming in his pre-match presser today that Daniel Jefferson will just be out for 3 games. Kieran Clark back training, but not ready to start. Same with Fleck. Here's what Paul Heckingbottom said about Fleck. Flecky's been able to do a lot more physical work, but now it's just the case of getting him introduced to contact and things like that, which we'll do at the beginning of next week. The long-term injuries are doing well, according to the gaffer. So let's take a little look at our own gaffer, which is in good nick. And he's actually, as he always does, given us what he thinks will be the predicted team. So we've got in goal, Wes Fodringham. And Ollie, I haven't played this for a while. Here it is.
Wes. League One, Wes.
League One, Wes. Are we crazy?
League One, Wes. Are we crazy?
I need no excuse. Bringing it back. Ollie, I want your thoughts on Adam Davies and his performance against Wrexham.
Yeah, I thought he was really poor. You know, for those who saw the match reaction, I went into this quite a bit of detail on how he played and whether or not he's making any kind of statement to want to be more in the team. Don't think he does. I think Wes is a much better goalkeeper than him, particularly at this stage. And I think we'll see that in just the fundamentals of goalkeeping. You know, I talked about it with Adam Davies. Shots on target, he's parrying back into the danger zone. That is not something that we've seen Wes do. And hopefully I've not jinxed him, because I think he's just much better at the moment. And I don't expect to see Adam Davies anywhere near our starting 11 anytime soon. To be honest, I think, you know, we're probably not going to be asking him to stick around too much longer than this season.
It's good look inside this that Nick's gone with. Many would argue, maybe apart from Robinson, that could be the best 11 Sheffield United could play. I like Sander Berger in that attacking right side of midfield position, and McBurney coming back at just the right time with, as I say, Daniel Jefferson out for 3 games. We won't talk about that red card. There's been enough said about it. Instead, we'll jump straight, Ollie, please, to the opposition 11.
Yeah, of course. And this is quite a tricky one this week. It's quite hard to predict because Rotherham have got 6 loan players. Now, you're only allowed a maximum of 5 loan players in your squad. So knowing quite who they're going to leave out and what they're going to go with is really quite difficult to predict. Now, they have got 2 really big, significant injuries. They've got Ben Wiles and Sean Morrison, who I believe are both out for the season. They're both fantastic players for Rotherham, 2 of their really key men. So obviously them missing out potentially is a good thing for United. But behind them, they've had a very, very good January. So the team that they're going to put out is still going to be strong and actually going to look very different, I think, to the one that played us at Bramall Lane. Now, they're going to play a 4-3-3. They're going to have Victor Johansson in their net. Now, for me, I think he's been the standout keeper in the Championship this season. He had a very good game at Bramall Lane, so he's somebody we know all too much about. They'll have a back four of Leo Chielda, Bailey Wright, Cameron Humphreys, and Lee Peltier. Now, I think obviously losing Morrison in that defence is tough, but Bailey Wright was a good deadline day addition, so somebody that we're going to have to try and break down. That their midfield three will be Connor Coventry in the deep position, Ollie Rathbone a little bit further forward, and then Domingos Quina, another one of their deadline day signings, linked to United 3 or 4 seasons ago now. But what he's going to do is he's going to have free reign. He's going to pick up the ball and he's just going to shoot. That's what he does. It's what he's always done. So something that we need to be on the lookout for. And then their front three will probably be Chio Ogbene on one wing, Tariq Fosu on the other wing, and another one of their January signings, Jordan Hugill at centre forward. He is going to be a little man playing the big man role. He's such an effective target man for a man of his size. But of course, you know all about making the most of your size, Hal.
Yeah, I mean, I get quite a few people having a go at the stature of Hal Stewart. And let me just make this very clear. I'm the perfect height for a man. Ollie, you stood next to me.
I'm not that much taller than you, so I really can't comment.
Not that much taller. Outrageous scenes. Outrageous scenes. Ollie, I'm not going to do what other people do to me. I'm just going to say we're both fantastically heighted.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption, Hal. I think that's fair.
It's nicer than what you said. Right, the referee for this one, Graham Scott. Now, I don't know if Graham Scott, who's usually a Premier League referee, has been demoted. You know, sometimes, Ollie, that is a punishment, isn't it? Or he's taking charge of this one because it's a Yorkshire derby.
Yeah, big game, big game. So as you come down to the big game.
Could well be. You've only come to see United. Now, he's from Oxfordshire. He will referee Rotherham against Sheffield United. He's taken charge of 13 games this season. That's in all competitions. He's given 38 yellows, 3 reds. He's awarded 5 penalties. He hasn't taken charge of a Blades game for ages, but whenever he does, it's memorable. He was the referee who was in charge. I'll know that this wasn't his fault. But the VAR with Lundstrom's big toe away at Tottenham.
Yeah.
Which feels like many moons ago. But more recently, he last took charge of our 2-0 away defeat to Derby County on the 15th of January. So that's a bad omen. He sent off John Egan, I thought very controversially, when we were beaten 1-0 at Aston Villa on the 21st of September 2020. So that's defeat, and also defeat. He refereed our 2-1 loss at Leeds United on the 3rd of April 2021. I mean, technically, we didn't lose the game at Tottenham when he was the ref, but that decision was not his. That was a VAR one. But everything else that I've just mentioned there, absolutely awful. So let's hope he has a better day. When it comes to predictions, Ollie, you sometimes have pretty good days. We'll give you Nick's prediction, but just sell to us the videos that you do with Nick when you love doing your score predictions.
Yeah, so we do a score predictions video for every game in the Championship. We get together every week in advance of the weekend's fixtures, and if there's a midweek set of fixtures, we also get together ahead of those. And then we just predict. We go through every one of the games, giving our thoughts on each team and how they're going to get on at the weekend. Now, at the moment, I am beating Nick in our big head-to-head. I am a long way clear of Nick, to be honest. He's really got to pull his finger out to catch up. But it can happen. We've seen it all season. One of us races ahead, the other one catches up. I'm just hoping he never catches me up now, and I just continue to ride that train to victory, baby.
Good luck. So what's your prediction for Rotherham, Sheffield United?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of those where I do hope Nick is right, and I'm not, because I think this is going to be a draw. I've gone 1-1. I think it's a really difficult game for United. I think, obviously, we saw what Rotherham are really good at in their last game when we played them at Bramall Lane. They've been on a decent run with 2 good results in a row now, including when they absolutely battered Blackburn. So they're a dangerous team. They score a lot of goals at home. And so we need to treat this with a lot of respect and not just expect to walk them over. And yeah, I think it's going to be a disappointing day for United, and we'd probably be quite frustrated with a draw.
I actually agree with you. And also, if you're wondering why we're doing this match preview so early, it's because it's an early kickoff. So we're just giving you as much time as possible. There's no ulterior motive around that one. Yeah, Nick thinks we'll get a 2-1 win. I hope Nick is right. When it comes to players that have played for both, there's a fair few that have played for Rotherham and Sheffield United. Please pop yours in the comments below whenever you're watching. Ollie, do you want to do any, or do you want me to just throw some at you?
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely loads, isn't there? I know, obviously, you'll throw a few at me. I think the one that immediately came to mind for me, I think, was Stephen Quinn. I think, obviously, when they were going through their difficulties and we were just sending them players to help them out, he was one of those players that went down there and I think did a decent job. But go on, who have you got?
All right, well, I've picked out Greg Holford, who, as we can see from his Twitter, has still got that long throw. Also, Nicky Law.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Wow. Yeah. Nicky Law.
Man United. And one of my personal favourites, and I only say that because it really winds up our official stats man who thought he was Bobbins, Jamal Campbell-Rice.
Jamal Campbell-Rice. Yeah. He was a frustrating player. Obviously, it was during that time when we only signed players who were about 4'3", and if you were bigger than that, you weren't invited to play, and he very much fit the mould.
Yeah. Dane Haig, absolutely right. What have you tuned into? We are becoming far too pessimistic. We're just honest. I think, it's a tough away game. A very different Rotherham side, of course, to the one that we would have played earlier on in the season, transfers, etc. But really, sometimes I give a slightly negative prediction because I'm playing a bit of reverse psychology and I want to be wrong. And I desperately, desperately hope I am. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Ollie, as ever, really appreciate you joining us for this preview. We'll do it again very, very soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.